Hello YTPC, Northeast Piper UK here, and we're at the final part of our story of Andrew Mills and the Brass Farm murders. As you can see behind us there, that's what's left of the old Black & Decker factory, and I'll do a quick sort of pan round. And all this area here used to be one big huge factory. It's all getting turned into houses now, and bit of a modern day revamp. And just over in the distance, we can't really see very well, is the Thinford Road junction. So that's where the McDonald's is that I mentioned the other day. That's where I was heading. Now, after Andrew Mills had committed the murders, the speculation that he did spend a while with the bodies, and obviously in those days mental health problems was unknown, so we'll probably assume that whatever mental breakdown he suffered, he'd come to his senses, realised what he'd done, so he fled to some neighbours where he tried to say that some men had raided the farm and killed the children. And at the time there was some troopers travelling from Darlington towards Durham, and those troopers apprehended Andrew and they went back to the farm, and during that time they'd gotten an alert out to the parents who were there, and when the mother looked at Andrew, saw him covered in blood, she proclaimed straight away that he'd done the murders. So the troopers searched him and they came across a bloodied knife, which basically sealed his fate. He was taken to Durham, where he was put in prison, tried, and it's a bit of a grey area where he was executed, because there is some stories that he was hanged at Durham, then his body was preserved in a tar substance, and he was brought back here and hung from a gibbet until basically he just rotted. Now there's another story that a local blacksmith went to his cell and manufactured a gibbet, which is basically a cage that you stand in. So imagine the bird feeders that you have with the fat balls, but in the shape of a man. So you're actually stood up in this, you can't move your arms, you can't move your head, and he was hung from that alive. And naturally there's tales where there was freshly cut meat was hung from it, so it would attract the birds to come and basically peck him to death. Also on these gibbets they used to build a device in front of your face which you could skewer food to, maybe as a loaf of bread, but it had a pike inside, so if you tried to bite into this, if you were able to reach it, it would spike or skewer your tongue or your roof of your mouth. Pretty nasty stuff. So again, he was hung from this alive, and there's no known spot where it actually took place, because it was a hangman's gallows. This is where they used to do a lot of highwaymen, they used to hang them here. But because of recent findings that there is paranormal activity around the Black & Decker factory, I've heard tales of how somebody had gone into a toilet, and as he was stood there in the toilet, an apparition came out of one wall, walked past him and walked into the opposite wall. My sister used to work there, and they used to do the boardroom out, and nobody liked to do it because they always felt that when they were in there getting everything ready for the meetings, they felt that there was some presence there. But either way, he was executed. He suffered a very terrible death. And also from this spot here, I can't really see it now because there is sort of things in the way, but I'll move around and try and see if I can get a shot of it. It is in view of the farm in the distance. So he would have spent his last days looking upon the farm where he committed the murders. Well, that is until the crows got to his eyes, I suppose. So there you go, a little bit of horrible history near where I live. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed doing it. Karen had never heard the tale before, so she's enjoyed it. And we're just waiting for the bus now to get home and soak our feet in a nice bucket of ice cold water. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it as always, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.